We often think of the comma as a pause in a sentence, but what if you need a dramatic pause? That's when you use a dash. Use a dash when you want to make an abrupt change in the pace of your writing or to call attention to a parenthetical phrase. But be careful using this powerful form of punctuation. If you overdo it, your writing may seem overdramatic. It's very common to use a pair of dashes instead of parentheses when you want to emphasize a parenthetical phrase, rather than have it be a more subtle aside. Abraham Lincoln, one of the most celebrated American presidents, did not start out in politics. Here, the dash provides much more emphasis on the unexpected nature of his successful presidency. If we use a comma instead, you read it a little differently. Abraham Lincoln, one of the most celebrated American presidents, did not start out in politics. It's not wrong, it's just less dramatic. Decide for yourself whether the parenthetical phrase needs that extra dramatic emphasis that the dash brings. Henry James used the dash in the sentence describing Thoreau. He was worse than provincial. He was parochial. We may need to look up both of those words before we realize how insulting that is. Provincial means unsophisticated. You only know about what goes on in your province. In other words, you have a narrow-minded view of the world. Parochial is even worse. You only know about what goes on in your own little neighborhood. You're such a country bumpkin, you can't begin to understand how complex the world is. What if Henry James's famous insult used a comma instead? He was worse than provincial, he was parochial. That sentence is fine. It just lacks that final death blow. If you're interested in typography, you'll want to know that depending on the length of the dash, it's called an N dash or an M dash. The N dash is as wide as the letter N. The M dash is as wide as the letter M. Notice that both N dashes and M dashes are longer than hyphens. Most publishing houses pick one of these dashes and use it as their standard. Typically, the M dash is used as a dramatic punctuation mark, and the N dash is used to show a range of times or dates. Open from 9 to 5, 1941 to 1945. If you're still not sure whether you should use a dash, remember, there's never a case where you are required to use a dash. Try using a comma, a colon, or parentheses instead. If you find you really need to dramatically change the pace in that one spot, go ahead, use that dash.